The Jealous Husband, Episode 2. Caleb comes to a halt in the driveway. Yemi did not wait for her husband to turn off the engine. She steps out of the car, leaving her husband behind, walking straight to their flat apartment, which they share with other neighbors. The parking space in the whole apartment was taken except for the space Caleb used to park his car. She didn't wait for Caleb to switch off the engine of the car. Before she alighted from the car, she makes her way straight into the stairway leading to the apartment. Yemi makes her way to the third floor of the apartment. Yemi hurries up the stairs with her bag and the nylon of grilled fish she had gotten from the party. Thanks to her acquaintance Roy at the party, she wouldn't have gotten anything edible from the party. She reaches for her keys in her bag, unlocks the door, makes her way straight into the kitchen, takes out the grilled fish from the nylon into a container. She realizes that the fish wouldn't get into the container, so she breaks the fish into two to fit in properly. She covers the container with its lid, put the container into the microwave, sets the microwave to warm for 10 minutes. She makes her way into the living room. She sees that the living room light and the TV was on. It must have been her husband that left it on. She takes her leave without sighting her husband in the living room. She makes her way into the bedroom. She can see her husband is changing into something comfortable, trying to avoid any conversation because she knows Caleb very well and it can bring up any argument. She grabs a towel and hurries to the bathroom. His voice follows behind. "What were you discussing with that man at the bar?" She ignores and makes her way into the bath. She decides to take a shower and tries not to step out of the shower until she hears her husband leave the bedroom. Finally, she thought as she hears the bedroom door closes behind him. She makes her way into the bedroom, reaches for a convenient outfit in the wardrobe to change into. She hurries down into the living room, straight into the kitchen. She can see her husband sitting in the living room, watching television. As she makes her own way into the kitchen, "I'm hungry," he says. She halts for a moment and replies, "I thought you ate something at the party," she said. "I said I'm hungry," Caleb yells. "Okay, I'll make you something." Yemi says, "I won't swallow," Caleb adds. What in the world is wrong with this man? Yemi thought to herself, he just got back from a party where there is a buffet of food of different varieties and he decides not to eat any, only to come back and stress the hell out of her. Will it ever be okay? Yemi asks. "No, I want amala," Caleb says. "Well, we are out of yam flour and we only have curry. If you don't want eba, I can prepare rice for you if you don't mind," Yemi responds softly. Knowing fully well that her husband wants to start an argument at this point that will lead to what she least expects. "What were you and that man discussing at the bar?" Caleb asked again. "Look, do you want me to prepare your meal? Or you want to ask me questions about politics? Because I already had an embarrassing day, all because of you, and the only energy left in me today. I would prefer not to do anything but to drink garri and go to bed." Yemi says there was no response from Caleb. She takes her leave into the kitchen. Yemi lights the gas to warm the soup. She prepares eba and vegetable soup for her husband. After serving her husband the food she had prepared, she remembers that she left the grilled fish in the microwave. She hurries to bring it out. She fills the container with her hand. "Thank God, it is still warm," she says. She devours the fish in the kitchen. She clears his plate once he finished eating and made her way into the bedroom to retire for the day. Next day, the alarm goes off at 4:30 a.m. Yemi steps out of bed. She makes her way out of the bedroom. She cleans up the whole house, lights the gas to prepare breakfast for her husband. She She prepares food for him to take along to work. 7:30 a.m. Caleb steps into the living room fully dressed for work. He went straight to the dining area. He sits to have his breakfast. While having his breakfast, Yemi packs his lunch to put next to it so he can carry it along with him when stepping out of the house. Good morning, Yemi greets her husband as she drops the pack of lunch on the table. Her husband didn't respond. She takes her leave into the bedroom to freshen up for the day. After taking a bath, she reached for the bag she had taken out the day before to take out her wallet. Yemi have different bag for different occasions. She reached for her purse but sees a business card which she didn't remember putting it inside her bag. She can feel the texture of the card. She can tell the quality from how it felt. She smiles as she reads the card. It contains Roy's details. She turns the card around, and there in an handwriting behind it, it says, "Call me. Let's talk about insurance." She smiles. She slips the card into her purse. She dresses up for work. She looks into the mirror and smiles to herself. Finally, something to make her happy. A new client. Someone whom she believes will increase her points and pay at work. Yemi steps into the living room. Her husband have already left the house as usual. She takes the dish he used to eat into the kitchen. She makes her way out of the house into the streets of Lagos. She boards public transport to work. A good day to begin with. She thought of how much networking she will be getting from Roy. She believes he will have many rich friends he can introduce her to in order for her to insure their properties or businesses. Yemi got to the office in a good mood. She holds the card in one hand and she thought to herself, is she doing the right thing? What if he is more interested in her and not the insurance of his business? Well, at least he knows she is married. That will keep him off from any ulterior motive. A knock on her door brings her back to reality. Yes, come in, she says. The door of her office swings open. Laura steps into the office. Mr. Bab says you should handle the issue arising with Shell Homes Property. Shell Homes Property is one of the accounts Yemi have brought into the company. What is the issue this time around? Yemi asks. I don't know. Seems like some kind of fire incident or so. Laura says, you know what? Just handle it. You can check your email for the complaint. Laura says. Yemi signs as Laura takes her leave from the office. She dials Roy's number, praying in her mind that he doesn't pick up because she doesn't know what to say to him at this point. Hello? A familiar voice of Roy answers the call. Hello? This is Yemi, the insurance lady you met at your family's function yesterday. What took you so long? I was expecting your call since yesterday. I hope you got home safe. Roy asks. Yes, I did. Yemi responds with a soft tone, like a maiden who is trying not to make a match like her. How did you manage to slip your card in my bag? Because if I recall, you never gave it to me. Yemi adds. You don't need to know how I did. That is one of my magic tricks. Roy jokes. What are you doing this afternoon? Or don't you have break at your insurance firm? Roy says, is this man asking me out on a date? Yemi thought to herself. My lunch break is in 3 hours time. Yemi looks at her wristwatch as she responds. Let me take you out for lunch, Roy says. Only if the discussion is about insurance, property, or business. Of course, I love discussing business. Send me your office address. 3 hours later, Roy picks up Yemi from her place of work and drives her to a restaurant not far away from her place of work. Each of them orders a meal. So, how many years have you been working in this your insurance company? Roy asked. About 4 years, Yemi responds. When are you leaving the company? Roy asks. I don't know. Enough about me. Let's talk about you. We talked about me yesterday. All I just want to do is listen to you. Roy says, I don't understand you, Mr. Man. Yemi says, if you must know, I only invest in people and not what they do. Roy says, okay. Yemi says, so what do you want to know about me? She adds. What if we pick up the conversation from when are you leaving your insurance company? I don't know. Yemi says, shrugging her shoulders. Don't you have anything interesting to do? I mean, you're a smart woman. You must have an entrepreneurial spirit in you. Roy asks. I have not thought about that, Yemi says. But you should have something of interest or something you are good at. Roy says. It's so funny that you're saying that. At one point in time, I had the idea of starting a restaurant. Also, at another point in time, I have an idea of, also having a fashion line. Of, I guess those ideas were just because I was bored or because I was tired of doing the same thing each day. Yemi says, that means you have points of interest. Why not start something? Except if you are earning in millions of naira every month where you work. Roy says. Yemi signs. If you don't mind, how much are you earning? Roy asks. So many questions. If it will make you insure, then I'm less concerned. I earn 450,000 naira. If I close the deal with you, I will probably get a raise, Jimmy says. I can see you really work hard, but you are smart and a smart woman runs business. 450 is what I can spend on a meal with my friends, Roy says. I can tell that you are very rich, and I don't mind you introducing me to one of your rich friends so they can insure their properties and life too. Yemi says, trying to wave up the conversation about her. They finish up their meal. Roy asks if she wouldn't mind to take a look at one of his closest art gallery nearby, and she agrees. On their way to the gallery, she pulls a call through to one of her colleagues telling her she's going to view one of the properties of a soon-to-be client should in case her boss or the HR ask of her whereabouts. They arrived at the gallery in no time. The gallery is a classical architectural style of building that stands 2 stories tall. They made their way into the gallery. From the reception, Yemi can tell that Roy owns the whole building. They walk past the reception and some members of the staff greet Roy and Yemi as they walk past. A lot of African artwork displayed on the wall. Yemi can tell from their unique difference. This is a lot of artwork, Yemi says. Did you lease this place or you own it outrightly? Yemi asks. Well, God bless me with the building, Roy says as he rubs across his belly. I must say you are very wealthy, Yemi says. Special art piece caught her eyes. He walks to its front, stares into it for a while. Then she signs. Wow. The art says 1,000 words in 1 minute. Yemi stares at the art as if it wants to communicate with her. Roy comes to stand next to her. This was done by Greg Valiti. Roy says. Yemi stands still as they both gaze at the work. The artwork depicts a woman who is in love at the same time, wants to become something in life, but something keeps holding her back. This says a lot of things and can mean a lot of things, right? Roy says as he breaks the silence. Yes, I feel it talks about freedom. I can see a woman who wants to be free from everything holding her back. At the same time, she wants to be loved. Jamie says their hands touch each other. They unconsciously hold hands. Yemi can feel the warmth of Roy's hand. She feels secure for the first time in a long while. They stare at each other, their eyes meet. It was as if the world had come to a halt, with everything zoned out around them. Yemi leans in on him, her hands touching his chest. She can feel the well structured of his chest and abs. Hi everyone, we know you are enjoying this story so far, but we would like to ask you for a quick favor. Please do well to share, like, subscribe, put on the notification button, and comment. We love feedback. If you do this for us, this will help us to work more on our stories. Thank you. His eyes locks to ours. Yemi heart beat faster. She leans further in as his lips touches hers. She never wants to let go. It's been a while she has felt this way. His lips were so soft. Wait, what is she doing? She's married. She quickly withdraws herself. A chill of awkwardness runs down her spine. Sweat beads cover her forehead. Even with the makeup on her face. I'm so sorry, I shouldn't have. Roy reached out into his pocket and brought out an handkerchief. He hands it over to her. She grabs it quickly and dabs her forehead with it. I think I need to take my leave, she says as she tries to leave. Hey, Roy says, walking after her. He holds her hand. I'm sorry for making attempts at you. I should be the one apologizing to you. Let me drop you off. Roy says, not letting go of her hand. Yemi, also not wanting to be let go of, stands still. It's okay. I can find my way. She says, please, let me take you back. I was the one who brought you here. I know I've messed things up big time, but let me do this. I'm not going back to the office. I just want to go back home. Yemi says, I insist. Let me drop you off at home. Or are you worried about your husband? Roy asks. No, not at all. He will still be at work anyway. Yemi says sharply. So let me do you the honor. Roy says. Yemi finally agrees for the ride. There was a moment of silence as Roy drives. No single word was said throughout the journey, except Yemi giving road directions. Roy comes to a halt in front of Yemi's apartment. Kindly forward all the necessary documents for the gallery. I'm willing to sign and make payment as soon as possible. At these points, Yemi feels more awkward. But what will she do? She needs to work. She must not let anything distract her from her work. Okay, I will have my team come check the art studio tomorrow to know what everything within and what's the bidding worth. Yemi says, looking straight to avoid making eye contact with him. Yemi opens the car door, tries to get out of the car. Yemi, Roy calls after her. She leans into the car to hear what he has to say. I'm sorry, Roy says with his hand clapped together. It's okay, nothing happened. Yemi walks briskly away from the car, straight into the apartment. She makes her way up the stairs into the apartment. She unlocked the door. She hears the sound of the television as she opens the door. Oh my god, this man got home before me. How come? She walks into the living room. She sees her husband sitting in the living room, sitting on one of the living room sofa. Good afternoon, she greets. Why are you home early? And whose car is that dropped you off? Caleb asks. Hi everyone, please do well to share, like, subscribe, put on the notification button and comment. We love feedback. If you do this for us, this will help us to work more on our stories. Thank you.